Everybody, this is Neopunk FM, and we are with Barely Human.
Neopunk FM.
What was it like for you when you saw that Hands Up, number 14, Billboard dance chart?
Like before Hands Up, I was still doing that type of music a lot, and I really started to do TikTok and stuff, and I was working at a job, like a normal job. I was working at Panera Bread,
right.
And I was just making hella videos, trying to do anything to quit my job. And I remember the first time that Hands Up kind of blew up on TikTok. It took a while for it to hit me, because you can look at things and you can look at numbers and all this stuff, and it could still just be this is doesn't even feel real. But once I saw it on Billboard, that I started crying. I was like, what the honestly, it's hard to fathom sometimes, because it's just so insane to think about. There was nothing really behind it except for just I was just making in my room.
It's crazy. I just remember before making Hands Up, I was working a 12-hour shift, and just listening to all the classic the 2010 electronic music. So I was kind of inspired, and I went home after a 12-hour shift. It was probably 6 in the morning, and I was just craving to make a beat. So then I made the beat, and then I was like, you know what, Barely's the perfect person to hop on it. So then sent it to him, and then the rest is history. We
were both just trying to make something really good.
Of course.
And the way it happened was perfect timing, I guess.
Do you still play Roblox?
Of course I do. I'd be on Internet Famous. No, Fashion Famous. Fashion Famous really fun. I made my own world on Roblox, and just we'd play music in it. It's really fun, yeah.
What would be your strategy if you were to be on the island, in Total Drama Island? What would be your strategy?
Oh shit. I would just be fake. I feel all the people that win those shows are fake as hell, and they talk shit behind everyone's back,
right.
And then they win. So I'm I mean, you could either be really nice to everyone and loyal, and then you'll probably get number 2. If I'm trying to win, then I might just be a little sneaky snake.
Sig New World for next year. You're on the lineup. Do you have any bands you're excited to see there?
I will say I fucking love System of a Down.
Right.
I really, really love them. And then also Slipknot. I listen to Slipknot a lot. I don't know how that plays into what I make now, but I just listen to other genres, and it inspires me to make something different.
Right. What's the process for preparing for something like that? Do you have anything special planned, or that you want to keep secret, or do you have any plans for that?
Usually I try to not overthink it.
Of course.
Before. Yeah, usually I kind of just do the same thing for every show, just go 100%.
How do you feel about the labels of scenecore or hyperpop, or labels that people might put on you for the sound of the music? Do you accept those? Do you reject them? Do you feel mixed about them?
It doesn't really bother me what people say, but I feel they just want to call it something, so then it's they can understand it better. If it's something new or something that's a bunch of things into one genre, they kind of want to just be oh, it's this thing, so then they can it just all registers better. So I don't really mind it, but I also just like to call my music sassy scene, just because so it can have its own little lane, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
And I think that's super cool. So
what can you tell us about sassy scene? What does sassy scene mean to you? How do you think others have kind of taken the term? What is sassy scene?
Music wise, it could be anything from dance to super electro to hip hop. It can kind of be super versatile, but I think the main thing is just the attitude around it, and just the feeling that it gives you when you listen to it.
Right.
And I feel it's just sassy.
And
it's
band,
yeah, I think it's more about the feeling of how you feel when you listen to it. And I think that is pretty much the whole thing. I'm yeah, sassy scene. And I think the scene part, because I really do love the fashion aspect of scene, and I feel I put a lot of that inspiration into my look. The music is sassy, and then I'm looking scene, so I feel it's a little,
it's a whole package.
Yeah, I feel it just makes sense.
With the scene look, it is an integral part of Barely Human. And do you think that it's something that is always going to be there? Do you think there's going to be a phase where you're this was a part of my artistic persona, and now I'm going to kind of change it up, and it's something maybe a little bit beyond scene, it goes into, it could be a million things, but do you think it's ever going to go past that, or is it going to stay in the scene lane but just kind of evolve in its own specific way? What does that look like for you in the future of your artistry?
I'm super experimental. So like even like before I was doing like heavily inspired scene looks and like my music was like inspired by like MySpace and stuff.
Right.
Like I was doing different stuff. So I feel like I'm always gonna like change. You know, I'm gonna keep like some of the aspects that I like. Like the makeup is probably gonna stay mostly the same because I just like I feel like it looks good. You do something for so long, it's like it's cool, but it always feels like so cool when you do something new and then it like works out. So, you know, I always try new things. Like,
Of course.
never opposed to it. Some people think they want you to stay the same forever. Like they'll
Right.
say that, be like, I miss the old you or whatever. But like in reality, like if someone's like literally the same music wise, style wise, whatever, I think you have to change. Like
Yeah.
if you don't change, then it's like,
You'll just die off.
yeah, like people are just gonna be like, oh, remember that person? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I want that for myself.
No artist wants that. For sure.
Yeah.
It's terrible. What's your favorite Lady Gaga album?
Lady Gaga album, probably Fame. That one's just like the most iconic. It always sticks with me, and like literally front to back, no skips. Like all of her albums, no skips. But that one for sure is like I listen to that one too much, a little too much. Yeah.
Are you a fan of Jersey Shore?
Oh, of course. I've watched it like 2 times front to back.
What would you say is like your favorite Jersey Shore moment?
I think my favorite was when Snooki like went on the beach, and she was really f***ing drunk. And
That's a classic.
Yeah,
not to mention it.
that was so funny. Like, I think that was the best moment.
There's a lot of people who will come after your music. You'll see like a lot of drama. Some people saying, you know, it's fake Y2K, saying that it's like cringe. Like, how do you feel about like haters like that? How do you feel about like, you know, kind of like just mean comments like that? What do you feel about like the sentiment of like, oh, like this person makes TikTok music. It's not like real music, or it's like it's not as authentic as kind of like other music.
I think they're kind of funny. I'm not like, oh my fucking God, like I'm gonna cry. Like it's super interesting because I feel like that happens to all artists. Like it doesn't really matter who you are. Like
Right.
everyone kind of goes through that stage of like maybe if you're like a newer artist and people are just like don't get it or something, or maybe they just don't want to get it. It's kind of important for that to happen because you don't want people not to like, you don't want like everyone to love you, because then I feel
Right.
like maybe like everyone might switch up on you if like everyone loves you. So I feel like it's kind of important. And the thing about like TikTok music, I feel like that doesn't really even make sense. Even if it like goes viral on TikTok or something, like I mean they always go viral for a reason.
Right.
And it's not like it's something that's like, oh, this isn't like real music, because it's just like everyone listens to it on TikTok or something. But like people actually go to like, you know, Apple Music, Spotify, and like actually listen to the songs, even if it's just like a 30-second thing on TikTok. Like people are just gonna say that because they'd be like, maybe they want to be niche, and they'd be like, oh, I don't listen to TikTok artists, I only listen to like
Right.
blah 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 that like nobody else listens to. Like it's kind of one of those things.
It's definitely this thing where it's like people are more annoyed, I think, with like the idea of like TikTok fans. But even then, it's like, you know, you just like is the music good or not? Like, are you into the music? Yeah.
Like honestly, that's just comes down to that.
I grew up around, you know, the MySpace scene, and, you know, I just, you know, make around whatever I like, you know, and if they're gonna hate on it, then they can hate on it, you know. This is what I love, you know, making. So
Yeah.
What part do you think has been like more drama for you? Do you think it's been Stan Twitter or all the other parts that like your social media presence consumes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like TikTok is definitely more like mean sometimes, because like I feel like on TikTok, like someone might see a video, blah 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 did this, and then they might just like repost like something with like a different caption, and like they don't even know what happened, and then it kind of just like it's already a thing, and then like people are saying like something that doesn't even make sense. Twitter is kind of a different thing. I feel like on Twitter they're kind of just like, you suck, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I fucking hate them, and it's just like, well, that's the end of that.
What is your craziest Scene Kid moment?
I mean, like when I was like super into 21 Pilots, maybe I was a little cringy, but I think I was having fun. So like I used to do that whole thing where like I would like paint my neck black and my hands black, and then like that was an interesting time, but I was having fun, so fuck it.
Were you chronically online? Would you still consider yourself chronically online? What does that look like for you?
Probably a little bit. Like when I was growing up, I was like on Musical.ly, which was like before TikTok. So I was just like doing those like cringy videos, and like no one's gonna find them. So yeah, I was like doing that for a second, and I feel like that helped me though. I was like kind of like popular on Musical.ly weirdly, and like I was just like making content when I was like 15. And just doing like cringy videos to like 21 Pilots and like like lip sync videos, and I think that helped me a little bit though, because like I wasn't like, when TikTok came around, I wasn't like, what is this? Like, I kind of already was like, oh, it's like the same thing, but it's just like people are making different types of videos. So
Right.
I feel like it kind of helped me better like post and stuff, and like I already had like kind of a grip on how social media worked. And I used to like be on Stan Twitter. I don't think I'm like online like down bad Discord mod, but yeah. But I feel like, yeah, I was always on the internet. So
What can you tell us about Dance Till We Die?
that song, honestly, I made that one really quick. I was like just in my room, and I was like, I really need to make a song because I just got back from traveling, and Marry Me Pros sent me a beat, one of my friends that lives in London, and like I heard that shit and I was like, yep. I made that song in like 10 minutes. So
Really?
it was just like a little quick song. I sent it to Pros and he loved it too. And so, like, honestly, that song is just, like, about having fun and stuff. And it's, like, super dramatic, you know. My lyrics are always dramatic. Dance until you die. Like, dramatic as fuck. But I think it's, like, I think it's cool. It's, like, a vibe.
What was inspiring you to make music at the very beginning with trap metal, hardcore, like before the music that you make now? You know, trap music before you got into the whole core scene.
I was, like, listening to 6arelyhuman a lot. And I was going to a bunch of, like, different types of shows. And I honestly just like picked up on that and I thought it was super cool, and I was doing that for almost about a year until like I kind of just switched because I wasn't that good at it, and I wasn't like making stuff that felt like super genuine to me.
Right.
So then I like started making dance music, and it just like felt so much better and more like real.
Have you ever been to a NASCAR show?
Yeah.
We had one that was in Atlanta that we went to, and it was crazy because our whole like thing behind it that was that we went there dressed like frat boys, knowing that it would be like the most like punk and opposite thing to do outside of how everybody else was dressing there. And we uploaded a TikTok of me handing him a SpongeBob plush on stage, and I got roasted on TikTok for it because they thought I was like a big like Meat Rider fan.
The show I went to was like people were like bleeding and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow. It's like, damn.
Yeah, like they're sucking his toes and everything. They're going crazy. That's
No. Oh my God.
What was it that made you want to do music over anything else, like being a filmmaker or getting into fashion? Like, what was it about music that really drew you into that?
I used to like draw a lot, and I feel like I was always doing like more artistic things. I don't know. I always just like loved music, and I used to just like, you know, make stuff for fun, like with my friends. We'd like freestyle in the car, you know, just like for fun. And I always like found it super like interesting, and like once I finally learned how like people make music, it made me like kind of love it even more, because it was like it wasn't like as simple as I thought it was. Like you just like sing on a mic. It's like there's a whole bunch of shit that goes into it that's really interesting, like producing and mixing and mastering and like all that stuff.
Real.
And like I still don't even know like half of it, but I think it's fun to learn. And I honestly just always loved making music, so
Right.
it kind of stuck.
Was it also the idea of like, oh, cool, like I get to like I can like perform and like be on stage and like have like a whole look of like kind of like a star like that, like a music star?
I never really like thought about the whole like performing and all that, but I used to like when I was younger dress up and do stuff like that. So that also was like always a part of stuff that I did. I just like dressing up and doing looks, and I think that goes back to like drawing and stuff.
Right.
Because I used to like just like draw looks and stuff, and I thought it was super cool. So
What's your best touring memory or your favorite touring memory that you really cherish?
this is actually my first tour. I don't know, I'm just having fun. I think my favorite like memories from like doing shows and stuff is always like right after you get off stage. After we get off stage, it's just like we're like, we fucking killed that shit. We're like so hype, and we're just like, yeah, we did it. Like that like feels so fucking good. What do you think?
Oh, like yesterday was we played at, what was it, North Carolina?
Charlotte, yeah.
That was like honestly one of the best like shows I ever experienced. So
What's one thing that you wish people would understand about you that you feel like they often misunderstand?
Some people take me too serious. Like most of the time, like a lot of the shit that I do is just for like fun. Right. And I just want to give out good energy, so then like people can just like, like chillax, have some fun, like some people like look into my lyrics a lot and they're just like, you said this, you said that. I'm like, it is not that deep. Like,
is there anything you want to tease to the fans that's coming up? What is your message to the youth and your fans out there?
I have another project I'm working on. I'm working really hard on another album, and I'm gonna have some like new little bits of flavor in there with some new sounds, and I think it's gonna be really interesting and fun. And my message to everyone out there is just don't take life too seriously. Just have some fucking fun, you know, like, it's party time. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Do you have a message for everyone?
Just want to say love you guys, and you know, just keep, you know, believing yourself, you know, just believe, you know.
Yeah, that could take you far. It sounds like, you know, everything that's like super cliche is actually true. So,
well, everybody, you heard it first. Neopunk FM, Barely Human, Masquerade Atlanta. Let's go.
Yes.